Welcome back to Catch Up with Chuck from the Rural Futures Institute at the University of Nebraska. I'm Chuck Schroeder. I'm the founding executive director of the Rural Futures Institute. We're broadcasting today on International Women's Day, and it's a privilege for us to have a young woman that we've gotten to know that I really admire and certainly brings the kind of leadership talent that we hope for, Ms. Shelby Riggs. Shelby is a junior at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln who comes to us from rural Mitchell, South Dakota. So she's an immigrant, so to speak. we're proud of that. But Shelby's been very active in a lot of different endeavors as a student, including being one of our student interns in the Rural Serviceship program. So Shelby, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Sure.
It's exciting.
Listen, I remember specifically the night when you and I met.
Yes.
I had given a speech to the South Dakota Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and after that program, people were lined up to meet and visit, and here was this young woman standing in line. This was February 2016, when you were just finishing as a high school student, and you let me know that you were planning to come to the University of Nebraska to be a part of the Angler Agribusiness Entrepreneurship Program.
Yes, sir.
I came back and told my colleagues there's really a bright young woman from South Dakota coming down here that we ought to keep our eye on, and certainly you've not disappointed in your career thus far.
Well,
so listen, I want you to, we know that we've got moms and dads out there that are thinking about where their young one might go to school. I want you to share a little bit about your background, your upbringing, your family, your community, and then why Nebraska?
Awesome. I get this question all the time. So I'm from rural Mitchell, South Dakota. I grew up, my mom was from Mitchell, which is a town of approximately 15,000, and then my dad was from Ethan, which is a town of approximately 300. So they met in the middle, right smack dab between the two towns. And I grew up in a rural area surrounded by agricultural influences from my dad's side, and being really invested in the local community in Mitchell, more so, through my mom. She and her brothers operate a moving company in Mitchell that my grandfather purchased and built up. And so they're really, really invested in the local community there, and so I did a lot of service through that. And then I also had some really great experience with the arts. I did dance all throughout my entire life, really, and then our high school, despite being in a rural place, had a nationally acclaimed show choir program.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really awesome. So I really got the best of both worlds in a rural place, that ag background, but yet still got to experience some really neat things.
Sure.
And then when it came time to decide where I would go to pursue my education, academics were also something that were very important to me. And we had some really great schools where I'm from. And, I really love the schools in South Dakota, but I was also really interested in getting experience somewhere else and taking that back. So when I was going and visiting schools, a lot of them were really great, but no school had the type of personalization as Nebraska, and I was really attracted to that. And also, I think my heart kind of skipped a beat when I saw the indoor arena at the Animal Science Complex.
Sure.
So that's really what drew me to Nebraska, that and some scholarships.
R.B. Warren, my old rodeo and livestock judging coach, for whom it's named, I'm sure he's jumping in heaven right now to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, in 2017, you and Emily Coffey, who has also interned with the Rural Futures Institute and has been a guest on this show, you were Rural Serviceship interns in York. Helped them with a community marketing project, preparing for an LB 840 election. Emily's told us some about that project, and you can add anything that you would like, but I'm interested, Shelby, in your feelings about that experience and perhaps some of the things that you didn't expect, that you encountered, had to overcome, that you learned in that experience? Tell us about that a little bit.
So I was really interested in joining the Rural Futures Institute and doing that serviceship program just to, serve a community and get involved in a new rural space and see the opportunities. But I didn't anticipate the type of personal and professional growth that we experienced throughout the summer through the challenges of navigating the 6 different projects that we had. So if I had to sum up our experience, the 2 major challenges that we faced were one, in communication. So we were working with 2 different entities in York. There was the York County Development Corporation and then the Chamber of Commerce.
Sure.
And we had projects for each of those with different deadlines. And so it became a challenge to communicate with both of those organizations and let them know that we were, making strides towards both projects, even if we were focusing on one more than the other at one point in time. So my communication skills, I think, were improved through that. And then also just working, we had a lot of steering committees that we were working with, which were comprised of community leaders and people with really strong opinions, and we had to...
But not always alike.
No. And we had to really work with them and get all of the opinions in the room to kind of work together and be heard to reach the best possible solution.
Sure. And boy, experiences that will serve you when you're 65 as well as right now. That's cool. You've talked a lot about experience, and the Engler Agribusiness Entrepreneurship Program really has a growing reputation for the unique experience that it creates for its students. In fact, it's known informally as the Engler Experience. You and I have talked some about your experience with Dr. Tom Field's Family Business Management class, the Innovation Studio, the Engler Rallies. Talk a little bit about what you've done to create Shelby's personal experience through the Engler program and related activities.
Shelby's personal Engler experience is really awesome. I love it. So I've become really involved in Innovation Studio, which is a place on campus where you go and there's all of these machines and types of equipment that, professional woodmakers or professional, sign makers would have. And so I've learned how to use a laser cutter and engrave glass and wood and made a lot of really unique gifts for family members and might start to market. And I've also really benefited from the classes and all the types of rallies and networking events we have. It's really awesome to get into those classes and to meet all the different entrepreneurs in the Lincoln area and just really get your ideas flowing and realize that these are just regular people that are starting really unique businesses and have the courage to, go and apply those tools that you learn in the classroom and build your own business.
Yeah, it's, not only the entrepreneurs in the community that are working, but the ones that are sitting next to you in those classes. Yeah. It's really a delight for me to see the friendships and the relationships that are built among really creative people like yourself that, again, I know decades from now, you're probably still going to be hanging out together. And
probably.
What do you think about this sort of conversations? Well, listen. You and I have also spoken a bit about your dreams for using agri-tourism, ecotourism, other rural-based adventures, if you will, as economic development tools for rural areas. I want you to talk a little bit about some of those ideas and tell us about your plans to build a career in a rural community, if you could.
So I come from Mitchell, South Dakota, which is known for the Corn Palace.
The Corn Palace, absolutely.
It is bushels of fun to talk about the amazing Corn Palace. Those are puns. But it's not only a tourist destination, but we use it as a multi-purpose space in our community. So in the summertime, primarily, we get tourists in to view the Corn Palace and learn about agriculture. And it brings in outside revenue to really supplement and support our community. But throughout the year, then, we use it as a multi-purpose space. So I have had every dance recital in my life there.
Sure.
We've had concerts there. I've had track practice there. And we had prom and graduation there. And it's a really unique place that we might not have if it weren't for that tourism. And additionally, you know, I have uncles who lead hunts. South Dakota is really known for pheasant hunting, and so we have hunters from all across the United States, and you know, some from internationally come in
Sure.
and go on pheasant hunts, and that's another really great way to show people our way of life, let them get immersed in our culture, and really, you know, everyone loves it. And so I think we have a great opportunity going forward to really share these experiences and these, you know, the culture with other people. And so I think that in itself, that idea could be used to develop rural areas and get them the type of like multi-purpose spaces like the Corn Palace and those amenities that come with tourism. If we are able to capture the essence of our rural communities, what makes us special, why do we stay here, and then share it with other people. And so I do plan on building my career in a rural area because I don't think that I would make it very long in a city where there's no wide open spaces and no place to keep my horse. So I definitely want to go back and live in a rural area.
Sure. I think you could make it anywhere, just so we say that. But anyway, I understand what you're saying. Mm-hmm. But that's so important. We in the Great Plains have told ourselves for generations, well, if we don't have mountains or an ocean, we don't have anything to market.
Yeah.
And the truth is we have a lot.
Oh, we do.
We aren't born with the notion of, well, here's how we package and market that. So that's where I think your innovation and your talents are going to be so important going forward. Well, listen, we know that our audience is made up heavily of moms and dads who are thinking about, who are interested in rural, who are thinking about where their kids might go to school. Now listen, I happen to know that Shelby Riggs does not spend all of her time going to class or having coffee down at the mill. You've been involved in a lot of other things, including, I don't want you to be too modest to say, you are now the UNL Rodeo Queen. We're proud of that. Talk a little bit about the rest of Shelby and the way your personality comes to play in getting involved in other activities on campus and how they've been a growth opportunity for you.
Yeah, so I see activities as areas in which you can supplement your education and put it to use. So when I came to campus, I immediately sought out opportunities in student government. So I was involved in the Committee for Fees and Allocations, which we actually evaluate the budgets for all the fee users on campus, which turns out to be about $27 million, and then allocate that to fee users. That's helped me grow on the financial aspect. And then I also, for more of my enjoyment, I'm involved in the UNL Rodeo Association, which I absolutely love. And in that, I have become a co-education chair for the Rodeo Association and the UNL Rodeo Queen. And I can use those roles and partner those roles because, you know, my involvement in rodeo queening really stems from my belief that agricultural education is extremely important, and we want to encourage children or youth or people of all ages really to really want to be involved in agriculture. And, you know, you eat 3 times a day or maybe more depending on who you are. And it's just really important to know where your food comes from, and also it's a way in which you can impact someone else's life by growing or producing the type of food that other people eat. You know, you're directly impacting their life. So I think it's really awesome to get people excited about agriculture, and I really love that aspect of it. I also, just for fun, go to Playmore all the time, which is a country dance hall a few miles out of Lincoln, or take fitness classes at the rec to de-stress.
Good for you. Yeah. So anyway, communicating. You're learning more and more and more about communication and using that talent to reach audiences that might not otherwise be reached. Well, listen, one of our core beliefs at the Rural Futures Institute is in people's capacity to create their own future. And Shelby, you really seem to me to be a young leader who is already demonstrating that capacity to make choices about who you're going to be, where you're going to go, the kind of future you're going to create, not only for you, but for your community. And we're really proud to have you as one of those students that the Rural Futures Institute has been able to invest in and perhaps help you build that capacity. So, anything else you want to add today?
I do want to add one thing for those parents out there whose students may have an interest in going to an out-of-state school. You know, I have gotten the question all the time, why Nebraska? Or why did you go out of state? Was there something about South Dakota that you didn't like? Don't you like your state? And that's not it at all. I absolutely love South Dakota. I have grown in my appreciation for my home state and for where I was raised through going to an out-of-state school. And so instead of discouraging students from pursuing those opportunities, I would heavily encourage your students to grow and let them explore, and most likely they will want to return and reinvest in their community with those lessons that they learned elsewhere that they can then bring back and like improve their community.
Sure. It's a great lesson about life, and it's you know, your presence next to somebody from Palisade, Nebraska is helpful to them too. So anyway, well listen, we're out of time. I just want to encourage you to join us again next week for Catch Up with Chuck, where we're going to be talking with real people about real places and demonstrating that thriving rural communities are a legitimate best choice for worthwhile living. Thanks for joining us.